Hi, my name is Jillian David, and I will be talking about ghosting within the interview process. Many times when we are going through the interview process, we get to a certain point and we stop receiving updates about where our application is in the hiring process. Ghosting is when the applicant feels a sense of being abandoned by the potential employer after either submitting their application or going through the first round of interviews. For the most part, companies will send an automated email saying the application was received, but it does not mean it has been received by an actual employee or recruiter, just the computer system. And this is where your application might get lost in the shuffle and we still don't hear back from anyone. Days and maybe weeks will go by with no hope that anyone will reach out to the candidate, and recruiters have now left applicants waiting for a response they may never receive. When does ghosting happen? It can be seen that ghosting can happen during various parts of the career seeking process. Ghosting can occur shortly after a candidate sends their application in or after they've gone through an initial phone or in person interview. Recruiters many times fail to update candidates or let them know that they went with a different candidate. I personally have been ghosted both before the interview process and after I had initially been interviewed. It gives me a negative feeling about the company as well as leaves me in a constant state of worry as to why, or leaves me asking what ifs. If I could have said something different. How does this method turn applicants away from a company? This method in the interview process actually turns applications' interest away from the companies who had ghosted them. This means that some people won't ever apply to a certain company again if they've been ghosted by them. If an applicant is ghosted, it means that the recruiter or the talent management team is not taking an active role in both the interview process and or hiring process. In many scenarios, ghosting turns potential applicants away from not only applying to certain companies, but gives them less hope of finding a job altogether. How can ghosting be stopped, and what is the solution? Recruiters and organizations should simply be in contact with any candidates, whether they want to take them or don't. Also, recruiters should email candidates when they receive an application, not just get out an automated response when someone applies for a job. Once they do, they can review it and decide to move on with it or not. And whether they do or not, I think it's best if a recruiter or the talent management team reaches out to someone regardless. A recruiter is a very dynamic job, and they should be walking candidates through the process as well as helping them once they're working at that organization. The talent management team should also assist and help recruiters so ghosting doesn't keep happening. Lastly, as a candidate, it is okay to send a follow up email or contact the recruiter after you had had an interview. Recently, the advice from recruiters is to reach out to companies to see where their application is in the application process. Many times, people get nervous about annoying someone and reaching out after they had either applied for a job or already had an interview, but it's best to send a follow up thank you email as well as ask where your application is in the interview process. How has being ghosted affected me? I've been ghosted a number of times and for various potential jobs. For example, this past semester, I applied for an internship with Showtime in New York. I heard back from the recruiter and set up a phone interview. I spoke with her on the phone and was excited for the potential opportunity. However, I never heard back after the phone interview. In high school, I was ghosted from a number of jobs as well. Ghosting can happen at both the corporate level and the small business level. I've experienced it with both types of businesses. It is very hard to be ghosted for me because it leaves me insecure about my career choices and leaves me with a lot of what ifs. It also leaves me wondering what I could have said and what I could have done. And I think that what we have to understand about employers is it isn't anything personal. They just went with someone else. But it would be nice if they just told candidates.